So right, so that's that. We've done some dark brown. Okay, so let's now add some lighter, more ready rust. Now, see how this one looks, because I've not used this particular burnt umber before. So it depends how thick it is. If it's not that thick, we might have to put a bit of, or a bit, not rusty enough, we might have to put a bit of red in it. But I think we might be all right, actually. So I'm going to change brushes. I'm going to a slightly, should we use a Ken Dodd brush? Yeah, let's go with Ken Dodd for this one. So this is the really erratic brush, okay? So go for a lighter sort of rusty colour now. Same principle, but this time using the really erratic brush. I'm going to start just dusting that over. There we go, look, can you see that? It's more of a reddy. Can you see the red rust on there? Yeah? Can you? Or not? The team's going, yeah? Can you? You can. Honest?
I can.
Right, so we're just going to use Ken Dodd for this. You want to just use just start to add. This is the burnt umber we're using now, okay? So this is the one that adds the real red look to the rust. And I'm literally just flicking it over on the edges. And I think that's starting to look, this is where, I think when I first did these, when I built those two that are there, and I was playing around and I thought, I'll just see how this looks. And I put this on and I think I probably went, oh, because I thought this just, I think I probably actually made an actual sound, because that's one of those things where you do it and you think, oh yeah, this just looks like exactly what I wanted. And it's purely by accident, really. But we're just going to dab this on, and over the top, you see, of the Dick Van Dyke brown, you start to get that lovely proper rust. So there's very little. This brush, it's worn out. It's had it, destined for the bin, but it's perfect for this. And if you just dab it on, the craziness or the randomness of the bristles just gives you that scratchy sort of look. Yeah, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll do that on the ends again. Like I say, you need when I'd use any paint lot, that's more than enough to do a pair of skips easily. So we're going to do the same again now on the sides. We're going to literally dust it over. You see it just smears more than anything. There we go. Look at that. The dog's what's-its. In it, Lola? She's asleep under the desk somewhere, ignoring everything. So we're just going to keep going, adding a bit more rust. Look at that. So I'm not doing anything particularly technical at all. I'm just literally dabbing it on until I think, yeah, that's enough. Just keep wiping your brush on your tissue, just dab it on like that, and then brush. If you've hardly got any paint on your brush, you can actually scrub quite hard to start getting, there you go, like worn effects and things. That's why the brushes end up looking like this. So dab your brush on your tissue, you start going there, all around. So that's that side sort of done. We'll come around the side in a minute. Of course, we'll do the inside. Same again, we're going to go up from the bottom. Just lifting the colour of the rust so it's a little bit more red, a little bit more fresh. Like I say, with the, whatever you call it, scruffiness of the brush, it gives you kind of scratched effects when you start stippling it a little bit. Scratched and worn effects. That's that end. So we've got both ends done. Both sides are done on the outside. That's just two colours on there. Hopefully your skip, if you're working along with us with the same colours or similar colours, yours is starting to look something like this. So on this inside again, we're going to do exactly the same thing. Build up the layers on top of what we've already got. Top and bottom. Dabbing, scratching, scrubbing, whatever you want to do, just to redden that rust up a bit. Come down from the top, where stuff's slid down the inside of the skip. So we'll go down from the top to give it a scratched effect, and we'll come up from the bottom as well. Not quite meeting, but just mixing it up a bit down there at the bottom. If you get some blobs, don't worry, because they'll just set like thicker sections of rust, or with definitely no paint. And we'll add some black in a minute to make it look really mucky in the bottom. Hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. I'm trying to get it so I can see what I'm doing, but you can also see as well. So just literally squidging that. That's a word, I suppose it is. The red of rust paint over the top. A bit too much there in that bottom left corner, but it doesn't matter. And do the same again coming down. I'll try and get some thicker paint at the top here, so it looks like there's absolutely no paint left, no yellow paint left at all at the top, and then just tease it down a little bit. Might add some darker brown at the top on that edge as well. And we'll do the same again on this side. So highlight that edge and over the top of the top of the skip. We'll get a couple of random scratchy bits and stuff in. There we go. We're starting to get something like a rusty old skip with a pristine bottom. Right. So what I'll do now is I'm not going to bother rinsing the brush out, because it doesn't matter. We're only doing rust and muck. So I'm going to just get some more dark brown. And I want to add a little bit extra dark brown to this top edge, if I can. Any questions from anybody? Sorry. Tina and I, we do tend to be quite in tune. Do tend to be quite in tune with things. So I just thought, any questions? And Tina was just literally about to type. Has anybody got any questions? That's 30 years nearly of being together. We know what each other's thinking, which is probably not always a good idea.
It's not more.
Yeah.
This is also useful for the inside of aggregate wagons.
Absolutely.
Which gets scratched to butts.
Yes.
By the stone.
Yes.
Loads.
Yeah.
Unloading.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this works for so many things. A couple of people said that they weren't going to tune in tonight because we're doing skips and they're not suitable for the layout. But it doesn't matter whether you're doing skip, whether you're doing I don't know, an old wagon, a wheelbarrow, anything. It don't matter. No matter what scale you're working in, this will work for all sorts of things. I've got a couple of larger scale things I'd like to try this on. I'd even like to try, when I can pluck up the courage, to try a bit of dry brushing on a couple of radio controlled cars, because I think it'd look really good. Not necessarily rust, but some muck and dirt and stuff. What's Tina laughing at?
No, and the start just said it should be bits, not butts. Just
scratch the butts.
Too busy painting.
Ah, right. That's all right. That's all right. No problem. If you're enjoying it and you're happy with the way things are looking, then that's brilliant. Right. So we're getting a little bit more weathered. Yeah. Doesn't look too bad, does it? And the middle of that skip is starting to look like a proper rusty old hole where stuff's been chopped over the years.